Trying out StreamYard. Let's see how this goes. All right, sweet. I hope this is working because I just spent the last 10 minutes figuring out if it was going live on Facebook or not. I'm using StreamYard for the first time, so bear with me if there are any technical difficulties going on. But welcome. So this is the first episode of the Brave, Fit, and Thriving podcast. This podcast is intended to motivate, inspire, and educate women who feel confined by their own bodies and their self-confidence. We want to learn how to achieve fitness goals without feeling drained, without taking away from your life, dependent on fat burners or restrictive dieting, eliminating food groups. There can be a well-rounded approach to achieving your goals while also balancing a healthy, thriving, longer, more energetic life. And it can be done. And this is a podcast that is meant to encompass all the ways to achieve that sort of lifestyle. A lot of times when women start chasing after their fitness goals, it's always like go hard or go home. It's a ton of cardio, it's HIIT classes, it's cutting calories down, it's cutting out entire food groups. And, they focus on making it a lot harder of a process for themselves. So the purpose of this podcast is to sort of avoid falling into that trap, because you can only go so far in those sort of habits. We'll dive into creating a positive mindset and a relationship with your journey, the importance of your lifestyle and your diet on your hormonal health, and how it all ties in together. There's going to be a lot of information regarding hormones, lifestyle, and how they interact with each other, how your diet interacts. So stay tuned for all of that awesome information. If you're ready for a change in your life and you're finally ready to thrive, not just feel like you're barely surviving, I'm here to help you brave that journey every step of the way so you can live your best life. First of all, let me introduce myself. I am Coach Dana Foster. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm a corrective exercise specialist, nutrition specialist, and a strength and conditioning coach from a few different certification organizations. I also studied biology in school, which was kind of where my interest in human fitness and human science really first started. I've been through all the different stages in my own fitness journey. I used to be obese when I was a preteen/teen. Then I was clinically underweight. I have been through both ends of the spectrum, from emotional overeating to restricting, trying to please other people. And so I understand the mindset that surrounds both of those lifestyles, and also how our upbringing and our environment can impact our choices and our habits. And I want to show you that it is possible to change. You don't have to stay in that sort of lifestyle where you feel unhappy, where you feel drained, where you don't feel confident, and also say, fuck what everyone else thinks. Do it for you. A lot of times when we start fitness goals, we subconsciously are doing it to appease other people. And it's like, we don't need to do it for other people. We do it for ourselves. We get this one life to live. So if you want something, you can go chase after it. It'll be frustrating. It will be tough at times, but it's always 100% worth it to see how far you can go, rather than being intimidated by the journey and just not giving it a shot altogether. So the topic of this episode is, I kind of want you to understand why you might feel like you're not thriving right now. And I want you to know that it's not entirely your fault. The way the society is right now, it changes our health status. It's changing our choices. It's changing our perceptions. It's literally changing our hormones too. And we're going to kind of go into a little bit as to why. So first, let's talk about why we're not thriving right now. First, it's pretty clear, but also not clear at the same time. It's overconsumption, overeating. And this is very prominent in America. If you go to any restaurant, if you go to any fast food chain, portion sizes are massive. They are drenched in oils, canola oils, soybean oils, and even a small dish can pack a ton of calories. We even have salads at restaurants that are easily more calories and more fats than a regular hamburger. And we are conditioned to normalize these portion sizes, normalize these type of foods. My cat is screaming outside my door right now, and she literally does this every single time I'm doing something important. So if you hear her, that's just Trixie. She screams. Anyway, overconsumption, it's normalized, and food isn't very filling, especially if you go to places like Taco Bell or McDonald's or many fast food chain restaurants. You don't really get satisfying meals in terms of protein and fiber content. There's a lot of additives to our food that make them taste a lot better, like MSG, and it can impair your perception of fullness, leading you to overeating. And when you're ordering a dish at a restaurant, you're only ordering one entree. It just seems like, okay, well, this is just one meal, and this is normal. And as children, you might have also been conditioned to always clean off your plate, eat your food, don't be wasteful, and that carries over in adulthood. And our portion sizes in America are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but they're growing at a rate that we don't really notice that portion sizes are getting bigger. There's also convenience, at at grocery stores, they line the checkout aisle with candy, with chips, with sodas, a lot of foods that aren't very filling, but are very snacky, but very calorically dense. So even if you are just having like a small bag of chips for a snack, it can add 160 to 200 calories to your day. And if you are not being aware of the portion sizes at your meals, or you're not being aware of your intake for the day, that can push you into a caloric surplus, leading you to gain weight. Or you might be trying to lose weight, but one bag of chips won't hurt. And that 200 calories puts you at calorie maintenance versus a calorie deficit and stall your weight loss efforts. Then there is the reduced energy output that we have developed over the years. NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is basically anything outside of working out. When you are doing chores, when you're going grocery shopping, when you're just walking around the block with your children or your dog, you're increasing your NEAT, you're increasing your activity levels that way. But we are slowly chipping away at all of that. We have Amazon. We barely have to go to the store anymore. We barely even have to go to the mall. We can order anything we want from Amazon, and it shows up literally the same day. I'm guilty of that too at times. I had to expedite some things for this podcast. So I understand that decreases our NEAT levels. When we go to the grocery store, we're always trying to get the closest parking spot because we don't want to push the cart an extra 5 to 10 feet, 20 feet. And that is, in the span of a year, a few miles that you took off of your activity. And that could be a slight difference. It's an accumulative effect. It doesn't seem like much at first, but the more that you're chipping away this activity, the less calories you burn throughout the day, the slower your metabolism gets. And so the weight loss slowly piles on, or the weight gain. What was my other note? I had something else written that was really good. Oh yeah. Climate change. That's a big thing too. When it gets cold, super cold, you're not going to want to go outside for your normal walks that you do in the summer. When it's 100 degrees in the summer, you don't want to go out when it's 100 degrees and burn to a crisp. It's getting hotter in the summer. It's getting colder in the winter. You might live in some more extreme climates. It makes it difficult to go outside and stay active. Again, when you go to the grocery store or any store and you're going through this weather extremes, you're going to try to park as close as possible to the grocery store. And therefore, you are reducing your total energy output and total calories burned. And much of the time with this reduced in energy, we don't adjust our food intake. We don't adjust our calorie intake. We're not mindful about it. And so when we go into those dark winter months or those scorching hot summer months, we find ourselves less active in a lot of different ways. And then there's also hormone disruptions. And especially if you are blessed to be a female, our hormones affect not just our weight and our body water, our inflammation, but it also affects our perception, our energy levels, our motivation, our drive. And when we disrupt our hormones, we find ourselves feeling less motivated to move. We find ourselves making food choices we might not otherwise normally make. If you crave chocolate when you're PMSing, this is exactly it. Imbalances in hormones can really affect your choices and your actions. And it can also kind of mask your desire to reach your goals at times. It could be overwhelming. Our hormones literally alter the way that we think, the way we perceive our reality. And so there are things that can disrupt it. Alcohol, alcohol has a negative impact on our hormones, but we also normalize binge drinking it on weekends. We normalize going out and taking 5 shots and not even blinking an eye, barely drinking water, not eating beforehand because you want the alcohol to hit harder. But it sets you up to feel like shit for weeks after. Also, if I didn't say this before, I will be cursing in this podcast at times, so it is not PG. Just a heads up if you have children listening. I should have put that in a little bit sooner, but I don't want to hold back who I am in this podcast because I do drop a little bit of cursing. So just a heads up there. No shame. And then also we focus a lot on drinking a ton of coffee to get through the workday. There's vaping. Everyone is vaping. We're prescribing a lot of pain medication all the time and medications that disrupt our hormones like birth control. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be taking these things if you're prescribed, but you should be aware of the impact it has on your body and your mentality and how it all ties together with your fitness journey. And I'm going to go into a little bit on how to address these things a little bit more. How you can kind of overcome these barriers as to why you're not thriving right now. And we'll address, one other thing, focusing on extremes. Cutting out calories will, yes, make you lose weight, but if you're cutting it too low, you're negatively impacting your hormones again, impacting your energy, losing muscle mass. Social media, we see a lot of coaches saying, oh, you need to eat more to lose weight, but we misconstrue it, misunderstand it, and people take it the wrong way. We'll start eating more of the foods that they normally do and gain weight, and it kind of creates this distress between the fitness industry and a healthier lifestyle, relying on fat burners, cutting out entire food groups. Now I'll go into addressing these issues. Sorry, I'm like reading my notes here and I got a little too far ahead. So first we'll kind of go over overconsumption and how you can kind of manage it in a society that really is reinforcing overconsumption. So when you go out to restaurants, if you're going to a fast food place, first look at their calorie menu. Look at their calorie menu and look for something that has higher protein, lower to moderate fat. Low fat means like 15 to 20 grams versus the usual 30 to 40 grams a lot of meal dishes has. Not saying low fat diets are the way to go. You just want to be mindful because it's very easy to overdo them at restaurants and at fast food places. So look at the calorie menu. Try to see something that aligns with your goals at the moment. Are you trying to maintain a calorie deficit? You'll want to find something that's a little bit lower on the calorie side, higher in the protein. If you are in more of a maintenance phase, you can look for something that's kind of the middle range there. Even if you're in a calorie surplus, look for something in the middle range. You don't want to have something that has like 2,000 calories and like 60 grams of fat, and that's almost your entire daily allowance of fat. Kind of avoid those foods as best you can. But you can also kind of adjust things at restaurants and fast food places too. Asking for sauces, dressings on the side. If you're ordering a salad, ask for toppings on the side. That way you can be mindful of how many walnuts you're putting in there, how much Caesar dressing you have in there, which is one of the highest calorie dressings that there are available for salads. If you're ordering a meal and the menu, if I'm talking about Cheesecake Factory here, very few things are within your target calorie range, get a to-go box, put half of the food in the to-go box, put it aside, out of sight, out of mind, take it home, you have another meal. You just stretched out your money and you are avoiding stretching out your waistline. At home, the best thing you can do is measure your food and follow some recipes that have the macros listed, that have the serving size listed, so that you know how much you're taking in. Evenly divide that meal into your recipes. If you're one of my clients, go check out our high protein recipe book. There are some fire recipes in there. I am a huge fan. I literally made this the last 3 weeks with the pineapple chicken with pineapple marinated salsa. Wow, I can't talk. It is absolutely one of the best recipes that I've tried, and I'm about to try a zucchini pancake recipe sometime, I think today. But anyway, find some good recipes. In those cookbooks, there's actually a barcode too that you can scan with MyFitnessPal, and it will automatically upload. Like, it makes it so convenient. You have no excuse other than to track it, because literally you just scan the barcode and boom, you're done. It's great. I freaking love it. Mongolian beef too is good. Anyway, off on a tangent there. When you're at home, measure your food. Follow recipes that have the macros or calories listed. If you don't want to follow a recipe, what you can do is go into a food tracking app, put in all of the ingredients you used in their full measurements, and then decide, are you going to divide that recipe into 4 or into 2 or into 6, however you're going to divide it, and then save that recipe. Write it down, save it, and keep a log of it and practice it. Make it again. Try to adjust your cooking time, adjust your spices or anything to make it a little bit better. If you change up your meal prep too often, it makes it difficult to keep track of it. So measure your food or follow a recipe and track it. That's the best thing you can do for yourself, is track your food. It might seem like an inconvenience at first, but it literally takes maybe 10 minutes throughout the span of your day. It takes 2 minutes before your meals, like 1 minute before a snack. Or if you're like me and you tend to be a little bit forgetful, do it all the night before. At least fill out your food log as much as you can, and then just go through and edit it throughout the day if you need to. But generally, if you fill out your food log, you hit your calorie targets, or you're close to your macro goals, you're going to want to stick to it. It's like building your own meal plan for the next day, and it takes away a lot of stress and guesswork. You're like, oh, what am I going to have for breakfast? What am I going to have for lunch? What's available? What am I going to have? If you log it the night before, it makes it so much easier. Now, addressing reduced energy. The first step is honestly awareness, realizing that your energy output has been lowered because of the weather, or because of work, or because of stress, or whatever the reason is. Knowing why you're reducing your energy is the first step to overcoming that sort of roadblock when it comes to, reaching your fitness goals and keeping your energy and calorie output up. If you're at home, do some more chores. I mean, we all like a clean house, right? I'm ADHD as heck, so there's no shortage of chores for me. So if it's raining outside, like it frequently is in Washington, I can go clean the kitchen, because honestly, it becomes a mess halfway through the day anyway, and boom, there's some meat. Same thing with the living room. And we also have cats. We get cat fur everywhere. I need to vacuum that shit up all the time, or like dust things off, because they just get fur everywhere. There's no shortage of chores. Oh no, my light just died. Oh, please don't tell me it's completely dead. Oh, there we go. I wonder why it shut off. Anyway. Where was I? Oh yeah. Now, when it comes to incorporating movement, because you're not shopping as much because you're using Amazon, you got an addiction. Oh my gosh. All right. Give me a second, guys. Let me fix this. It said I had 2 hours and it just died on me. How do I plug this in here? Okay. I really liked this light. I needed it. 1 second, y'all. And yes, I say y'all. I'm not from the South. Just so you know. Okay, let's try this. Well, can I use the light while I'm charging it? Let's find out. Growing pains. All right, I'll plug this one. Put this one in. And let's see. There we go. Okay. I guess I'm just going to keep that light plugged in. It said it had an hour and a half battery life. Maybe I just didn't fully charge it. I thought it was fully charged. Anyway, incorporating more movement because you're not shopping as much, winter weather, you feel blah. Other than incorporating more chores is honestly when you go out to shop. If you cannot, God, I'm going to have to return that light. That's frustrating. Let's see if just my headlight will work better. There we go. Oh, I wanted good lighting for this, but we'll do with these weird yellow lights that I have going on in my room. Anyway, when you are shopping, try to get some extra walking in the store. If it's like raining, go for a lap around. When you're at the grocery store, start on the outside and then work your way in. Try to increase your steps in any way that you can. If you can park farther away, park farther away. If you can't, try to walk a little bit more inside the store. Do some more chores around the house. Honestly, having a clean house and increasing your energy output is a 2-for-1. You can also, this is my favorite way of increasing my activity at home if I have a few minutes, and it also sort of counts as cardio, is literally just break out and dance. My favorite thing to do when I'm bored at home and I don't have any work or I need to get some movement in is I will play a set from a music festival on YouTube and honestly just dance to it or watch a live stream and just dance around the house. I probably look like an idiot, but I have a good time and I just visualize myself at a festival and get movement in, and honestly, it just makes it more fun to get your activity up. If you are really, really dedicated to getting more movement into your day and you work at home or you have, spare time at home and you're just watching Netflix, invest in either a treadmill, like an under desk treadmill, especially if you work at home, or a desk bike or a stationary bike. Like having something in your house that can help you get your activity up, and dedicate 20 to 30 minutes of your day or more, depending on how much activity you need, to doing that. You could literally do it while you're watching Netflix instead of sitting on the couch when you might be more likely to start grazing on food and snacking. You will get your activity up. You'll increase your stamina. You'll increase your lower body strength and help your metabolism overall. Now, when it comes to hormone disruptors, kind of going back to alcohol is extremely normalized, especially in excess. And so it can be very difficult to really balance that with, trying to achieve your fitness goals and trying to thrive and feel better and lose weight. Here's a few things that you need to do when you are drinking alcohol is: one, always eat beforehand. I know a handful of people that will avoid eating before drinking because they want the alcohol to hit harder. That messes you up. That messes up your hormones even more, messes up your gut microbiome, sets you up for the worst hangover of your damn life. So always eat protein beforehand, maybe incorporate some fiber to help absorb some of that alcohol and protect your gut bacteria a little bit. Drink water. You want to dilute that alcohol too. If you're just drinking straight alcohol and you're not drinking enough water, you're more likely to kill off your gut microbiome, good healthy gut bacteria that helps your body absorb nutrients, helps your body digest food, which is why a lot of people after drinking, they might seem a little lean the next day because they're dehydrated, but they find that they are more likely to be extra bloated because they killed off their good gut bacteria. So drink water, dilute that alcohol, monitor how much you're drinking, count how many drinks you have, drink water with it. Try not to go into excess. You can get a little bit of a buzz and kind of sustain it for a little bit, but you don't want to be binge drinking because that is going to make you feel like shit for so much longer. Take a probiotic afterwards. Again, goes back to the gut bacteria that helps you digest food, helps you absorb the nutrients from your food. That's why a lot of people who binge drink also experience deficiencies in micronutrients. So get your probiotics in after drinking. Even if it was only 3 small drinks, take a probiotic. There's no harm. It does way more good for you. And you can also consider NAC, supplementation after. Now, always make sure with any supplement, if you're taking any medications, always look up interactions, always look up contraindications, look it up before you try it. But it can help with liver protection and also increases the antioxidant glutathione, which is really great for our nervous system and our overall health. So you can consider NAC. I know milk thistle also goes around to help protect the liver as well. I personally like NAC a lot more for a lot of other reasons as well, which I can go into at some other time. But again, always look up if you're taking any medications before taking it. Another thing too is most of the time people go straight to drinking coffee when you wake up in the morning. And while in small doses, not that bad, or if you're having decaf, it's not too bad. But if you are drinking I was going to say water, and then I said coffee at the same time, and it came out as waddy. What? Drink water before having coffee. When you drink coffee before drinking water, it literally sets up the tone for you to want to drink more coffee. And it also will slightly dehydrate you. And a lot of times when we are slightly dehydrated, we confuse that with hunger signals. And so it might make you more likely to graze, snack, have a bigger breakfast. So always have water before drinking coffee. It's also just good for your esophagus. Coffee is really acidic, and it can help balance some of that acidity out a little bit, especially if you have acid reflux. Drink water and food before, well, you can't drink food, but eat food before having coffee can help with that as well. And also with vaping, especially as us women, our hormones are so much more complicated than men. Like we get effed up off of things a lot more than men because we don't just have one dominant hormone, we have three. Well, actually more like four. But men, like, their testosterone is literally like the big dominant hormone that controls yes, they have some progesterone, yes, they have some estrogen, but not to our extent. Like, they need to focus a lot on their testosterone levels, whereas we have to focus not just on our testosterone as well. Ladies, it's important too. Estrogen and progesterone and our cortisol, like, they all affect us in so many ways. And vaping, it can really disrupt your endocrine system. The hormones that control your thyroid, which control your metabolism, that control your ovarian function, control your adrenal function, your pituitary, your hypothalamus. The vaping can really disrupt a lot of signals in there. And a lot of times when women vape, they are lowering their estrogen, and they really can worsen PCOS. If you have PCOS and you are vaping, you are making your situation worse, because vaping can inhibit follicle growth. And PCOS, your issue is having too many underdeveloped follicles that turn into cysts. And so vaping is literally contributing to that problem. And, when you lower your estrogen as well, you also develop more acne. You are ruining your skin. You develop more wrinkles. And this isn't to say, vaping once in a while socially is going to kill you. But if you're doing it every single day in excess, you could be doing a lot of hormonal harm to yourself. So if you are vaping, honestly, probably monitor your hormones, get them checked, especially if you are experiencing a lot of symptoms, especially associated with PMS, PCOS, depression, anxiety. Like, go check your hormones if you do vape or you do a lot of things that disrupt your hormones, because it really can give you an insight onto, why you feel the way that you do, why your energy is the way that it is. And then, also things like birth control. Again, like I'm saying, don't take this as you have to quit birth control, because everybody is very different. Some women don't really experience any negative effects from birth control. A lot of it comes down to your genetic makeup and how those artificial hormones bind into your body and what the cascading effects are. But for most women, it can affect your mental health. It can affect your sleep. And it also just depends on the form of birth control. But I would recommend, reading these two books. One, This Is Your Brain on Birth Control by Sarah Hill, is honestly one of the most fascinating books that I have read, because I related to so much of what she said when she was on versus off birth control. She also goes over, like, when is it important and how has it helped women evolve? Because it has helped us. It helped us accelerate in our careers. It's helped us, kind of change where we stand in society. But there's also some negative effects, and it's up to you to decide, like, are you willing to deal with those hormonal disruptions and work a little bit harder to get that motivation? Because a lot of times, especially estrogen-based birth control, can affect your testosterone, which affects your motivation, which affects your energy and also your muscular strength as well in some ways. So those are some things that you can check out. And the Period Repair Manual is a really great book by Laura Brydon, especially if you are considering or have just come off birth control. It can really help guide you in a lot of different conditions that might pop up again after birth control. A lot of women go on birth control because they have acne or they have hormonal imbalances. And instead of addressing the imbalances, they go on birth control. But once they come off, the imbalances come back. So this book is really great at addressing those imbalances and giving you actionable advice with your lifestyle, with supplementation in a healthy, safe manner. So I definitely recommend that book. And then there's also medications. Opiates, pain medications can affect the way your body has growth hormone and sex hormones and your gut microbiome. Like, it can throw all of those out of whack. So especially opiate pain medications. A lot of times when we come out of surgery or we have had a procedure, or I actually was, this is funny because a few weeks ago I went to the doctor because I thought I had a kidney stone. I had a kidney stone last year. And I have a pain tolerance, like I was dealing with it. But the doctor prescribed me Oxy. I refused to take it because I know the long-term effects. I just had it on hand in case the pain was going to get unbearable. But I was like, I'm going to avoid taking this as much as I can. Even some less less controlled pain medications like Tylenol, ibuprofen can also, impact your liver health, impact your gut health, impact your hormonal health in subtle ways. But if you are dependent on, if you're taking Tylenol or ibuprofen every single day, it could throw your hormones out of whack, which will reduce your energy. And so it all ties into these imbalances can affect your motivation and energy to stay active, to make those choices. Your cravings might go up. Like women, when we go through PMS and our hormones crash, our brain's just like, I need energy, and energy comes in the form of carbohydrates and sugar and chocolate. um, so, being aware of those shifts can help you kind of fight them. When you are aware of why you feel the way that you feel, you're less likely to give in to those cravings or the lack of movement, the desire to be a little lazy and, sit for 2 hours watching Netflix instead of the 1 hour like you planned. So a lot of those things can help if you address it, if you address the overconsumption, if you address the reducing of energy, if you address those hormonal disruptions, you can live a thriving life. And it's a learning process. It doesn't happen all at once. And it can be overwhelming if you're trying to process it all at once. So try to focus on one aspect of it at a time. Each week incorporate a different way of addressing these reasons why you're not thriving. Address the overconsumption one week. Maybe try tracking your food for a week. Kind of become aware of your portion size, aware of how much protein you're taking in, how much dietary fats you're taking in. Where are you tending to eat more calories than you probably should? Addressing your energy, try to incorporate some more housework if you can't go outside, or incorporate some walks in during your day, or go an extra lap around the block if you already are. Park a little farther away from the store. Always have an umbrella in your car for the days that it's raining so that you can park farther away and not feel like you have to rush into the grocery store and then rush right out. Addressing the hormone disruptions, next time you go out to a party and you're drinking, incorporate eating protein before, drinking that water, having that probiotic afterwards, monitoring how much you're drinking, and be aware, just because other people might be binge drinking and they are willing to feel like shit doesn't mean you have to. Water before coffee, eating before coffee, trying not to start your day immediately with caffeine can help. And then also just learning about your hormone health and trying to track your PMS, track your hormone symptoms, and track your weight fluctuations too. Like our estrogen and progesterone affects the way our body retains water, and it also affects the way that we think. And if you're ADHD like me, it can also affect your mental focus by a lot. So I hope this was all helpful. I really appreciate you joining us for the Brave, Fit, and Thriving podcast, the first ever Brave, Fit, and Thriving podcast. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. And I don't have a ending tagline for this. So I just want to say I appreciate everybody that has listened. And if you've gained any value from this podcast, please let me know what your number one takeaway was and what you plan on implementing into your life to help you live a more thriving lifestyle. I hope you guys have a really awesome rest of your day, and I will talk to you again real soon.